It's time to experience the O on the Original Sports Podcast. Here's your host, Mark Maraday.
Hey, welcome everybody to this episode of the Original Sports Podcast with Mark Maraday. My guest today is Taylor Green. Green is a board member and director of communications for the Black Girl Hockey Club. She leads on messaging and strategy to ensure the BGHC's mission of advocating for the inclusion of Black women and girls in hockey resonates throughout all levels of the sport. Outside of her work with BGHC, she chairs the Youth Council of the Sports Integrity Global Alliance, or the SIGA, where she works to affirm the dignity and rights of young people in sports. She's an avid, thank goodness, Pittsburgh Penguin fan. Taylor also is a proud native of Florida, where she earned her bachelor's and master's degree in sports management at FSU and the University of Florida, respectively. Taylor, how's the world treating you today?
I'm good. Can't complain. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you here. Hey, I know we know a little bit about your background, sports management, Florida State, University of Florida. Share a little bit more about your background for us, though.
Yeah, sure. So as you mentioned, being a Florida native, and I think growing up in a college town in Gainesville, it greatly shaped me wanting to work in sports and seeing the way that sport can connect people and galvanize a community for the better. So as you mentioned, I went to Florida State, go Noles, and I went to UF, go Gators. I'm a unicorn, so I did both. And through that, just have had a variety of experiences in college and pro sport. So my latest stint was at the PGA of America before I joined Black Girl Hockey Club. And so right now, very proud to be on the comms team and to make sure that our messaging of making the inclusion of Black women and girls in sports throughout all levels of hockey is first of mind for hockey fans everywhere.
That's pretty exciting. Hey, I've got two kids. One's already at Florida that I taught, Jack Anders. He's one of the quarterbacks on the team. And then I have a young lady coming there by the name of Kayla DiCello. She was on the U.S. Olympic gymnast team last year, and fingers are crossed she makes it for the next run. So watch out for my kids down there, okay?
That's very cool. Shout out to them.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, how'd you get interested in hockey? When did it all start for you?
Yeah, that's a great question. Everyone has their hockey origin story, I guess. So growing up, although we have the Panthers and the Lightning, being from North Florida, it wasn't as prevalent here, especially at the NHL level. And I honestly think one day I just lost my remote, and at the time Versus was on and I was watching hockey and I just got hooked, and I've been watching it ever since. And then I got to go to a game and really get a feel for how fast it is and how engaging it is. And, you know, to be one of 20,000 cheering on a team is so exciting. And so being able to be a part of that community as a fan and now working for BGHC, it's been amazing.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can remember my first play. Well, I used to go from the time I was a little kid, so I know exactly how you feel. My uncle, long story short, he used to take me, my dad, and my other uncle every year right before Easter. And I mean, I was little, maybe 7 years old. And the speed of the game, the excitement, you know, people banging. I know people love football for a lot of different reasons. But I'll tell you what, once you get to a professional any hockey game, to be honest with you, once you get to a hockey game and you see the speed and the skill, like, it's just amazing to me to watch. I love hockey.
Yeah, nothing like it.
Okay, so how did the Black Girls Hockey Club begin? What was the origin? How did you put this thing together? Because I find it so intriguing and so enlightening to me.
Yeah, great question. So BGHC was founded by our executive director, Renee Hess. And she was in town for a conference. She was in Pittsburgh. And as I'm sure you know, downtown Pittsburgh has quite a buzz after the Pens win. And so she just saw this black and yellow and heard "Let's Go Pens" 1,000 times and was really intrigued. And so she got interested in hockey and became a diehard Pens fan, as I am, as you are, and wanted to make a community for Black women. She noticed that when she would go to games in LA with the Kings, that she didn't see people that looked like her. And so at first it just started as an informal chat on Twitter, and we just called ourselves the Black Girl Hockey Club. And then it became kind of a group chat, and it's since blossomed into a nonprofit where we do lots of programming and events all across North America and the world to make sure that Black women and girls do feel like they have a place in hockey and that they're not the only ones when they are in an arena.
I certainly love and support that 100%. I love when they always, at some point during the course of the season, they always highlight you guys on the NHL. And I know the Penguins definitely do. I mean, I watch the Penguin Network all the time, obviously, or, the Pens, but I think that's spectacular. I love how the sport has grown. And I think the inclusion part of it across the board is just so important for hockey. I envision hockey at some point being the number 2 sport, to be quite honest with you, because I think it reaches out to our society as a whole. It doesn't pigeonhole anybody in any particular way, but my impressions, but I do see it coming together like that, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, we love to be a part of that growth and make that happen. I'd say, in order for that to happen, it's going to take a more inclusive fan base, more inclusive players, and owners and front office staff. So it's going to take all of us. And that's what BGHC is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. So your mission statement, then, how would you sum up your mission statement, and how has the club grown since you started? Actually, how many members do you have? Do you even know?
So Black Girl Hockey Club, we're a nonprofit and we're dedicated to the inclusion of Black women and girls in hockey. Simple as that. So when it first started, it was mainly just from a fan perspective, just, if anyone felt uncomfortable or wanted a group of girls to go to a hockey game with, that was basically how we started. Since we've done more programming, and including interacting with NHL teams. So we have our Get Uncomfortable pledge, which aims to disrupt the status quo in hockey and have more fans in hockey. So we do that through encouraging, employing, and educating. And we've had over 7,000 people sign our pledge, including 11 NHL teams, including the Pittsburgh Penguins. So we're very proud of that. We also have a scholarship fund. So we help young girls who are interested in playing hockey, but as I'm sure you know, the financial burden of youth hockey can be very rough on young players and their families. So just this past season, we had almost $20,000 that we awarded to around 8 young girls. So we're super proud of that. And we've got a lot of things coming up in terms of giving more money, giving more equipment, and just introducing more people to the game. So we're really proud of our growth. We have over 35,000 followers across our social media channels. And, given in just, roughly 4 years or so, we're really proud of that. And we're proud that it's authentic. One thing that Renee and I joke about is if we woke up tomorrow and had 1 million Twitter followers, we'd be really scared. Like, what did we do? What did we say? What happened? Yeah. So we're more proud that if we had 20 followers, but those 20 followers make it a safe and inclusive space for Black women and girls in hockey, then that's what it's all about. Those are our metrics of success, and we're super proud of that.
How do you reach out to the community? Like what types of things do you do? How do you decide to do scholarship type of stuff for the community?
Yeah, so we're very much into, authentic, more grassroots community things. So pretty much every month we'll do an in-person meetup at an NHL or PHF game. Last month we did one with the Metropolitan Riveters in the PHF. And we actually collaborated with our designer, Jordan Dabney, who's an amazing artist. And she redesigned their logo. So we have a Black Rosie the Riveter logo. And it's a way to incorporate Black Girl Hockey Club and the PHF. And so, thinking about how Rosie the Riveter is such a symbol of women's empowerment and hard work and, just overall strength, it's great to see a woman that looks like me, frankly, who's also symbolizing strength, empowerment, and hard work. So just little collaborations like that. Whenever we do an event, at an NHL game or at a PHF game, we always like to include Black-owned businesses. We like to do community events, and we particularly like to collaborate with NHL and PHF teams that are already doing the hard work in communities. So if it's a clinic with kids and helping them learn the game of hockey, if it's reconnecting with our scholarship awardees so that they know that they truly are a part of the BGHC, community. Just little things that we can do to have touch points. With our Get Uncomfortable campaign, for example, we do event programming where we actually have tangible, actionable things about how we can get uncomfortable and face these hard truths and truly disrupt the status quo in hockey. I say it's easy to diagnose problems, but let's solve them. Let's start doing the work to actually make hockey more inclusive.
Amen. I totally agree with you. What's your height time of the year to get out and actually, I know the season, you go to games, you do meetups and stuff like that. What's the height time of your year though, to get into like getting the young kids involved, getting the young Black girls involved, getting them interested? When do you really reach out into those communities to do that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I don't think it's one time in particular. I would say maybe the fall, just because, kids are back in school, they're playing club hockey. So I find that we have a lot of, heavy traffic and lots of engagements during that period. But we try and be engaged all year round. One thing that we notice, unfortunately, is that sometimes during the month of February, when it's Black History Month in the US and Canada, we are very frequently requested, which is fine. We're happy to do that and we love to engage with people, but we're Black all year round. This month is Women's History Month and Gender Equality Month. It's also Disability Awareness Month. So we're happy to, incorporate all of those things. So we try and do things, every month. We incorporate Black history every month. We incorporate gender equality every month. And so there's not a particular time. We're just always looking to be authentic and inclusive every month that we can.
Do you do anything out in the DC area? Because that's where I'm based out of.
Yeah, we do. We have a great relationship with the Washington Capitals. Many of our proud members do a lot of great engagement work with their diversity, equity, and inclusion work. And we have a lot of proud Caps fans that are very proud members, including on our board of BGHC. We do have an upcoming event for Juneteenth. I will leave it as a tease. But we have an upcoming event. We are collaborating with another organization in DC, and it's going to be a big event, and we're really excited, but I can't give too many details. So you're the first one to hear that.
When let me ask you this, how can a listener find out the information besides your website? Like, how is it going to be spread that you have this big event going on? What exactly it is and how they can get involved?
Yeah, great question. So be sure to follow us on Twitter at Black Girl Hockey. You can follow us on Instagram at Black Girl Hockey Club. You can always look at our website, blackgirlhockeyclub.org. And the other organization that we're partnering with will also have lots of information. So it'll be a big event. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm excited to find out what it is, to be honest with you. So your role basically is to grow, is to help. You're part of the growth of the organization. What types of events? Let's get real specific. What types of events do you do in terms of the growth? Who do you reach out to pull in to help you to expand and grow and open eyes?
Yeah. So it's little things. One thing that we try and do is, as a nonprofit, we want our fans, our stakeholders, our partners to hold us accountable. So even just at the end of the month or at the beginning of the month, having a newsletter where people know what we're doing and where their money's going and where their efforts and their hard work are going. We're always looking to have more signatories with our Get Uncomfortable pledge. So we're always looking to partner with NHL and PHF teams to sign our pledge and to, more importantly, commit to anti-racism on and off the ice. We're always looking at youth organizations in particular, because we realize not everyone may know about Black Girl Hockey Club, but chances are they do know a young player of color who maybe is just getting into the game or is super competitive, and they could, use that support system. So whether it's through nominating them for a scholarship or just introducing them to our organization, just trying to do more activations that way on the ground. We're very much rooted in community. We're not here, that we don't have, a millionaire, a billionaire backing us. We are very much of the people.
Which is perfect. My son plays youth hockey. He's 12, and he recently had a tournament, and I'd say 3 of the most fundamentally sound and nicest kids were young Black men or young Black boys, and their families spectacular. They were all there supporting them. It was just so great to see that. I mean, like, I love seeing people come from every different direction, no matter who they are, no matter what their beliefs are, out there playing hockey. Again, I'll go back to what I said to you earlier. I think hockey is one of those sports that it's just going to continue to grow and prosper, and people are going to understand that it is just such a melting pot, more than a lot of other sports.
Yeah, definitely. And that's how we're going to grow the game, Mark, through interactions like that.
Yeah.
And we're not exclusive to North America, just the US and Canada. We've had scholarship winners from the UK. We've worked with people from Africa. This game truly is global, and so is Black Girl Hockey Club.
Our team didn't do so good in the Olympics, though, this year, did it?
Yeah. Well,
our girls did. Our girls did well, but the guys.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, in fact, I think the girls were just here in the DC area playing some hockey, revisiting the Canada game that they had. So that was kind of cool for a bunch of the young girls we have playing at the rink. Favorite player?
I'm a Sidney Crosby lover all the way. My email address has 87 in it for a reason.
Yeah.
My Wi-Fi name is Penguins. Yeah, I'm a big Sidney Crosby fan.
I mean, he stands to reason why people love him. And I think people don't like him because of how good of a guy he is sometimes. I know I get into debates with Capitals fans because they call him a crybaby. They call him every other name in the book. And I say, how can you say that about him? Here's a guy who's 34, going to be 35 years old. Mm-hmm. And he still plays better than guys that are 22, 23, 24 years old. And do you ever remember a blemish on his record for anything he's ever done wrong?
Never.
I mean, quite honestly, he's a great role model. That's our guy in our house. It used to be Mario before my son came along, but then it became Sid. So I can understand why. Have you met him?
I have not. Black Girl Hockey Club, we had a meetup in Pittsburgh and we walked past him. So I have seen him a couple of times, but I have not had the pleasure of meeting him. But I've heard nothing but good things about him. So actually, I had someone, funny enough, when I was working at the University of Florida while I was in grad school, my boss used to work for the Penguins. And so she met Sidney Crosby a couple of times. So small world.
I'll share one good story with you. It was my son's 9th birthday. All he wanted to do was go to the Pens game and meet Sidney Crosby. So we went to the Pens game, and the next day we went out to Cranberry, the practice area. We waited about, 2 hours till the players were leaving. And Sid decided he was going to sign that day, even though he was meeting his parents. His parents were there. He was meeting his parents. And we knew that because somebody told us. We stood in this particular location, and the security guy came around, and he handed him whatever, and Sid signed it and gave it back. Well, he signed this poster that my son made. It said, "All I want for my 9th birthday is a picture with Sidney Crosby." So Sid signed it. I don't think he read it. So we went down to the end of all these people, and he's signing, and he looks up, and I said, "Hey, Sid." And he looks at me, and I said, "The boy wants a picture with you, man." I said, look at the poster. It says, "All he wants is a picture with you for his 9th birthday." And he waved him out and took a picture with them. A security guy's like, "Hey, get him back." And Sid's like, "No, he just wants a picture for his birthday. This is his birthday present from me, So he's just that kind of guy. It's just,
That's
to
amazing.
me, it's amazing to me. Like he had already signed for him, and how genuine he was going through there. So share with me or the listeners even, your most memorable game, the one you remember the most that you've gone to?
Oh, that's a great question. As a Christmas present, my parents got me Penn's Panthers tickets. So we went to Sunrise, and there were actually a lot of Penguins fans there. I find that at Tampa and South Florida games, you find a big Penguins presence. So the first two periods, it was not looking good for Pittsburgh. Florida was playing well, but the third period, Pittsburgh got their act together. Chris Letang overtime winner. It was an amazing feeling. It was an amazing feeling to be there. It felt like PPG Paints Arena. It was amazing. So yeah, that was and it was great to be there. And then of course I watched the replay the next day, and it was amazing. So
You look for yourself, or you like, oh, where am I?
I just remember the great feeling, because knowing that they turned it around and won, it was a great feeling.
Letang's spectacular, isn't he? Like, he's another one of those guys that you just got to keep them around to the end, which I hope they do. Let's talk a little Penguins. How do you see this season finishing? Where do you think we're going to end up?
Yeah. March is usually the month that Pittsburgh, tends to do well and, rolls that momentum into the postseason. Carolina is tough in the Metro. So I expect we'll maybe finish second overall, but I definitely think we'll make the playoffs. Have to keep that streak going.
Yeah.
I expect good things, and more importantly, I like the way that the players are talking. They sound like they're focused. That they know they have to finish well in the regular season, but that they are focused on a good run this year, and I like that. And I like Coach Sullivan, how he just seems really measured. He doesn't seem worried. I will say that this is one of the most superstitious teams out there. So I know, like, if they do something and they win, I'll do the same thing. Like, if I wore a jersey and they won, I have to wear that jersey. Or like, if they won and I didn't watch, then I have to do my part and not watch, things like that. So I'm definitely going to do my part to make sure that the Penguins have a good season. And yeah, I would ask all Pens fans to do their service, and whatever superstitions you have to do to make it work, we have to do it.
I don't know about other cities, but I could tell you that is such a Pittsburgh thing right there. We do that when we watch the Steelers. We do that when we watch the Penguins. I don't really do it that much with the Pirates. We kind of expect them to lose every year. But anyway, it is what it is. I really like to see them get out of the first round. What player are you anticipating or anxiously anticipating returning to the lineup? You've got Bluger, Matheson, Zucker, even Domingue. Who were you looking forward to seeing back on the ice with them?
Yeah, I just read that Bluger's a game time decision and he sounds ready to go. So just hearing that makes me feel optimistic. Yeah. I think especially for the postseason, Jason Zucker, I was kind of skeptical when he first was traded, but I feel really good about him. I'm not sure why it didn't work out with the Wild, but I feel really good about him. I like his chemistry with Crosby and even sometimes with Malkin. And I really hope that works out. I will say, not that you asked, but my player to watch out for, especially in the playoffs, is Brian Rust. When he's doing well, I have no worries. But when things aren't working out, then I get worried.
Are we going to re-sign him?
I hope so. We better.
Yeah, you got Rust, Malkin, and Letang. Pick two of the three that you want to keep home.
Well, I guess we have to keep the big three together. They have the 3 diamonds on their ring, on their third, Stanley Cup ring. Like, they are a unit. I'll never forget that quote when Sid said, "It's me and Gino." So they are all a package deal, but I really hope that we keep Russ too. Being a GM is hard and the NHL salary cap is no joke, but I hope that we keep all 3 and Rust.
I know you saying that about Sid talking about they're a package deal. Sid still goes out to the ice before Gino, which is like, people don't understand how unselfish those two guys are with each other. And Malkin even came out and said something about, "I've got plenty of money. This isn't about money, the next contract." Yeah,
Evgeny Malkin would be a first line center, would be a superstar, and he's a superstar with the Pens, but he would be, a mega star on any other team. And I think it says something to, the importance of team to this team. So yeah, a big credit to Gino and Sid, and they both play hard. They're not divas. They don't, take a shift off. They play like fourth line, scrappy, young, wanting to be signed players. They always play hard, and seeing how, excited they are every time someone scores, every time there's a win, just seeing that enthusiasm all these years makes me very hopeful.
Yeah. People don't understand how lucky and blessed and fortunate we are to have that. We went from Lemieux with a few down years and then into Crosby. So we were kind of lucky. Even having Jaromir Jagr for all those years. I mean, I met Jagr when he was 18. I lived in Pittsburgh at the time, and I met him at a he was days from coming to this country at a signing. I got something signed by him. Kid couldn't speak a lick of English then. Not a lick. Hey, talk a little bit about your position as the chair of the Sports Integrity Global Alliance. Share a little bit about that for us.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for asking. So SIGA is the largest neutral global coalition of sport governing bodies and other organizations that are devoted to sport integrity. So devoted to preserving what's right with sport. So in my capacity, I chair the Youth Council, and I just make sure that all of our policies and any of our programming and strategy keeps young people in mind. We always look at young people as the leaders of tomorrow, but in order for that to be the case, we have to lead today. Yeah. So I lead a team of 11 right now, and we just make sure that in everything that we do with SIGA, that young people are included and that young people know that they have a say when it comes to sport integrity. Youth sport is actually, unfortunately, one of the places where, corruption and things like that can play a role. So we just want to make sure that people are keeping young people in mind.
How long have you been in that organization and your position?
I've been in since August of 2020. So I started during the pandemic. I initially started as secretary and worked my way up just through hard work and being proactive and having lots of ideas. I was also in the Global Female Mentorship Program, so graduated from that and then have been with SIGA ever since.
Taylor, you're a go-getter. I'll tell you, this is a real honor to talk to you. When I catch up with you in 5 years, because I'm going to track you down, by the way, I want to find out where the Black Girl Hockey Club is in 5 years and what Taylor Green is doing if I don't read about you before then. But when I track you down in 5 years, what will you have accomplished? When I say to you, Taylor, what's been going on these last 5 years? What are you going to be able to tell me?
Well, I hope to still be working with Black Girl Hockey Club, to be honest. It may not be in communications or in my current role, but hopefully in some sort of capacity, I'm still working to make this game more inclusive and welcoming to Black women and girls. So I think in terms of the success, you'll just see more NHL teams signing our pledge. You'll see more scholarship winners. You'll see more of a ubiquitous presence of BGHC and just continuing to do the work.
That's impressive. Okay, so I have a final segment I do, and I'm going to put you on the spot here. Your Mount Rushmore of Pittsburgh Penguins.
Okay. Well, first, Mario. Have to put him first. Then Sid. Have to put Sid. Then Malkin. Have to put Malkin. I'm tempted to put Jagr. This might be a hot take. I'm going to go with Flower. I'm going to put Marc-Andre Fleury. When I started watching the Pens, it was around 2003. So Fleury had just been drafted. And, I just think about, how much we still love Flower, no matter what, we got rings with him, Flower World. I hope Sid and Flower still have an empty seat on the team charter from where each other used to sit next to each other, because that's how close they were. So I'm going to put Flower number 4. So that's my Mount Rushmore.
I have to support you 100%. Even though I grew up watching Jagr play, the way he left Pittsburgh, and then when they attempted to get him back and he kind of shunned them off and went to Philadelphia, he left kind of a sour taste in my mouth. Now, I don't dislike him and I don't disrespect him. I think he's a spectacular hockey player. My God, have you seen the man? He's ridiculous looking even at 50 years old. And he's still playing. I just I just read an article yesterday or maybe this morning where he is his team at Kladno. He's taking them, because they're in the championship, to an 18,000 seat arena, and all the proceeds from the championship game that he races are all going to the Ukraine.
That's great.
Yeah. So, I mean, I got to respect him from that perspective. As far as being on my Mount Rushmore, though, I don't like how he played the Penguins and Mario. So I'm with you. Hey, thanks again. I appreciate all your time, Taylor Green. Our guest, Taylor Green from the Black Girls Hockey Club, Penguin extraordinaire fan. So we really appreciate you coming on the show today.
Thank you, Mark. Go Pens.
Yeah, let's go Pens. Hey, you can follow Taylor on Twitter at Taylor_YLOR Green. Connect with us here on the Original Sports Podcast with Mark Maraday by checking out our website, apps, and much more. Our website, OriginalSportsPodcast.com. Like our Facebook page. Join us on Twitter, both of those, as well as Snapchat, OSP with MM. You can also follow us on Instagram, watch our TikToks, and check out our YouTube channel. All that is Original Sports Podcast. Hey, feel free to let us know if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions for the show by emailing us at originalsportspodcast@gmail.com. I want to thank our audio engineer, Sean Ankoviak, our voice intro done by Matt Noble, our intro and outro music provided by Ryan Benton and Preston Harper, our social media manager, William Franciscus, the web manager, Terry Maraday. And join us each week to experience the O on the Original Sports Podcast.